Hello everyone, let's get started. Today I'm going to guide you how to write a winning grant proposal step by step. I'm called Macmot Kizito Moses, a student at Mildmay campus UCU, doing his bachelor's in human nutrition first year. What is a grant? A grant is a very clear, direct document written to a particular organization or funding agency with the purpose of persuading the viewers to provide you with support. Why do we write a grant? When you want to start up a new project, you can write a grant proposal. Let me say, when you have seen a problem in your community, maybe there are orphans, and you want to establish an orphanage, but you lack a support, you can always write a grant proposal so that funders can fund your project. When you want to improve or expand an existing project and the cost cannot be covered by current project. Let me say you have a current project running and the cost is not enough and you're expanding the project. You can write a grant proposal so that the organization can run smoothly with a grant. When you know of granting organization that makes awards to pay for the programs or initiatives that you envision. Say here maybe you are dreaming about opening an orphanage and you have seen granting organization making adverts about grants of orphanage. Here you can write a grant proposal when you know that your eligibility standards for awards available via grants, when your standards are coinciding with the grants, when you are able to commit the time, energy, and other resources needed for the grant writing process. You write a grant knowing that you are willing to invest your time, energy, and the resources around you to run the project for which you are writing the grant. When you have been invited to apply for a grant award, at times the granting organizations, different people can invite you to write a grant. Therefore, you'll be free to write the grant proposal so that you can support the project the granting organization want you to run. What are the steps you go through before writing a grant proposal? Before writing a grant proposal, develop a specific, meaningful, actionable plan. Be specific in whatever you're writing. Don't mix in different things to one. Maybe let me say you're writing about an orphanage, a grant for an orphanage. Don't bring in things relevant to orphanage. Let it be meaningful, whatever you're writing about. Be specific about the orphanage, and whatever you're writing should be actionable to the viewers who are offering the grant. Consider how your plans will achieve positive results. Whatever you're going to write, whatever you're thinking about your plan for the grant, make sure it's going to be positive, make sure it's going to bring in positive results. Locate the funder that fund the project you have in mind. You can check the funders through Google, through newspapers, magazines, many platforms. You can find funders offering different projects, different platforms. Research that organization to see if its mission aligns with yours, because different organizations have different missions. Make sure the organization's mission align with yours, because if the organization mission is not aligning with yours, you'll be wasting your time writing the grant. You'll not be offered the grant, yet you have wasted your time writing the grant. Review the organization proposal guidelines. What are the guidelines for the organization offering the grant? Review it well. What do they want? So that you don't mess up. Okay, let's look at the steps to develop a grant application. First, carefully read the grant maker's requirements for submitting a grant application. Note the information which must be included and any other instructions given. Carefully read the requirements for submitting a grant. How are you going to submit the grant? Is it via email? Is it via WhatsApp, Facebook, all other means? Are you going personally? You should read it very well so that you don't mess up. And what are the requirements needed? Do you need academic document? What, this and this from A to Z? All the requirements needed, you must read it well so that you don't mess up. Determine if your project or organization matches the requirements of the donor. If not, look for other opportunities to fund. Knowing that if your organization does not match with the donor's requirements, it's better you look for other funding opportunities somewhere else. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time writing a grant to funders who are not offering the grant to such a project. So be careful in whatever you are writing. Develop your approach and set your goals and objectives for implementing the project. How are you going to run the project? Have a clear goal how you are going to run it from A to Z, and have clear reasons why you are implementing this project. What drives you to make this project run? Why do you want this project to exist? Why do you want this project to exist? Have clear reasons for why you're writing it. Then you can then write the narrative portion of the application. Narrate through from beginning to the end. The reasons why you're writing the project, maybe you're writing about an orphanage, about what kind of orphanage. This is now the flow. What makes you to think about orphanage? Make a clear flow. Then develop a budget for achieving your goals and objectives using the methodology described in the narrative. Now, the project you're having, make sure you have a clear budget for it. Let me say you're running this organization, this project. It needs this amount of money. Be clear, state it well so that the funders can get to know this project needs this amount of money. Are we ready or not ready to fund this project? Be precise and clear. Yes, write description about your organization's qualification. What do you think your organization is qualified for such kind of project? Make sure you are clear with your qualification for the organization. Conclude the application with a summary of what you hope your project will accomplish. By the end of your project, what do you want to accomplish? State it clear so that the funders can know your mission for the project. Because funders always want to see their money going at the right place, having right impact to the people they are sending the money to. Gather all required documents, all the documents which you think are necessary and the documents may be needed by the funders. Make sure you have all of them before you can apply for them. Write the cover letter. The cover letter gives information about the application of the grant. Write the executive summary, the cover sheet. Just gives you small summary of what's inside the application. Prove, read, and edit carefully the entire packet. This step cannot be skipped if you want your application to be taken seriously. Make sure you read your application several times. After reading several times, correct anything bad after. You can give to any professional who has done application writing before, who has done, and make sure it is the best before you submit. Let's look at what makes a good grant proposal. It should be easy to understand whatever you're writing about. It should be easy to understand. Clear and concise. Something doable. Don't write again something which cannot be done, something hard, something obstructive. It should be doable. Details what will be done. Give clear details of how you're going to run, what should be done. Make sure it is clear. Flows and has continuity. The flow should be good and with continuity. Visually appealing. Whatever you're writing should be clear to be read. Paints a vivid picture. Whatever you're writing should have a picture. Someone, whatever, even if you read, you can see how the project is going to run. Tells a compelling story. Make sure it tells a right story, a good story that everyone can understand, that really we need to offer, really, so that tells a compelling story. Make sure the story flows, that even the funders can really say, yes, we need to fund this project. Let's look at the structure of a grant application. When writing a grant application, there should be a flow of the structure. You begin with a cover letter, then followed by the executive summary, the narrative, needs assessment, goals and objectives, and the methodology you are going to use for running the project. This is the biggest part of the application, the narrative. Then evaluation, followed by budget, administrative and program costs, qualifications, applicant credibility. Then you can give the conclusion, summary of the grant, and then the appendices and objectives. The SMART word, SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timeline. Whenever you're writing a grant, you should be specific to whatever you're writing. Whatever you're writing should be measurable, attainable. Again, don't write about something which cannot be attained. And whatever you're writing should be realistic. And then the timeline. You should have a clear timeline of how long you're going to run the project. Let me see, you're beginning in 2021. When will it end? Is it in 2025? You should be specific. Let's look at the example of the less than SMART goal. Our organization will help to feed the hungry and the homeless to make the world a better place. That's less than a SMART goal because it has no specific timeline. Now let us look at the SMARTer goal. Feed the World Organization will help distribute 350 meals daily in Dallas, Texas to assist homeless mothers and children between January 16th, 2021 and December 31st of 2021. That has a specific timeline and it is realistic and it's attainable, measurable and specific, rather than the first one not having. Finally, we are looking at grant writing best practices. Make sure I develop a grant writing game plan. Have the plan before writing anything. Use team approach in grant writing. You can consult different people on how to write your grant. Read everything before you write anything. Before you write anything, make sure you read the instructions what the funders want so that you can be clear of what you are writing. Use pictures, charts, and graphics if permitted. This gives the best illustration on grant what is happening for what you are writing the grant for, so that the donors or funders can have clear image of what you're meaning, so that they don't fear giving you the grant. Provide relevant up-to-date information. Make sure any information necessary needed, give it all. Never leave anything behind which is important. You may think it is not important, but the funders may find it important in giving you the project to fund. Give the funder 100% of what they requested for. Make sure include everything they've instructed you to do. The documents they requested from you, give everything from A to Z so that you'll have the best grant. Thank you, wishing you the best in your proposal for a grant.